Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week we've got another stool to mend. See you in a minute. And we're back. Well, I'll say quickly before we get into the video, sorry we haven't been here for a week or two, but things have got absolutely mad around here recently. I've been very busy doing an awful lot of things that aren't very photogenic. It's been a case of people coming for half term and going out, days out, and the dishwasher broke and we had to get that sorted, all sorts of things like that. So I did say the other week that things might get a bit sporadic from now on, and that's typical of what's going on at the moment. I think I seem to have started an awful lot of new things. I'm getting into my old ways again if I'm not careful, but as long as I'm still enjoying it, I think it'll be alright. We've got a little stool in today. Let's have a look at that and I'll show you what we've got to do with it. Now, this stool came into Mending sheds the other day and it's pretty much shot, it's in pieces. Another one of these that is purportedly of sentimental value of some description or another. I don't know. It looks pretty much a basket case to me, but actually when you go into it, it's not as bad as it seems. This top, I think it's been out in the rain or something, or in the wet, because this top is all jointed with nice V grooves in it, and I think that is going to glue together quite well and give it a new lease of life. I think if we glue that up, you want it sanded down and painting. There's one other thing, there's a screw in that end there, screwing into the dowel, which I'm going to take out and see what happens, because if I can get some glue into there I will. So on the face of it then, it's not that much of a problem. The only thing that I've just noticed, which is really weird, is that it's way out of line. It sits square on the bench, but the top where the bench is, as near as damn it level, this top is just miles out. It's half an inch or so on the slope. I'm not sure whether or not that's something that the owner wants kept. You know what it's like, you've got something that you can sit on that's at a slight angle that's comfortable. It may be that he wants to keep it like that, because certainly that's how it is at the moment. I'll give him an email or a ring and find out if that's what he wants. But first of all, I think, get the top done. Just take this screw out and see what goes on with that. See, while that top is undone, I can get some glue into that. So I think what I'll do is I'll get some glue into this, then I'll screw it back up, which should locate it nicely, and then we can take the screw out and fill it later when we come to painting. There's a piece of screw or something in there as well. Needs to come out if it can. Don't know what it is, whether or not somebody's had to go at putting a pin in. It's a bit of a nail head almost. I think somebody's tried to nail it in that way. But I think the screw is doing a much better job. So we'll stick some polyurethane in there and then stick the screw back in, and then hopefully that will give us enough bite to be able to take the screw out later. If I smear a bit all the way around, it should take it in when it goes into it. There we go. That's gone quite deeply in. It's quite a big rebate in there. It's the only real downside of the polyurethane glue. It's filthy stuff to use, and there's only really acetone is the best thing to get it off. And as I say, we'll take that out later on. Fill the hole. That's it. So onto the top. Not sure again whether I can get any glue into the underneath of these joints. Some of them are a bit loose on there. It's a question of whether I should take that apart. I think I probably should. So this will pull apart, and if I can get in, I can get some glue in around. That one's solid into the middle, that one's solid, that one's solid, this one is loose in here. So I think if I can pull this apart, get that one off, do the same thing, glue it, get some glue into there, and then we can do these glue ups on here and clamp it up, for which I'll probably use the bench dogs to hold it. So get that ready before we get too much glue on the go, and we can get the clamps to push in at an angle. Yeah, I think that'll work. Right, so that one's glued in the middle, those two are glued, this one needs gluing on the back. Some around there. So I think the top is, it's quite nice wood underneath the nasty paint. It's beech or something, I think. It looks quite a nice timber. So that is now pretty much glued up. I'm going to put a piece of paper down on the bench then, otherwise we'll do what I did the other day and glue the job to the bench, which was a pretty major problem. So that will go into there like that. Do the other one. Hoping this will be quite a quick little job. Okay, put that one on there. Back and forth a bit, and then we can just clamp. Put a bit of pressure on it that way. Clamp it down as well, because it's, I'm going to try and lift, I think. That's getting it now. That's got it nice and level. Also put another clamp on here just to pull the whole thing down on this one leg, because I don't want the PU glue to sort of foam up and push it out. That gives it the grunt to hold it all down solid. Now, while that's drying, I've just had a play with the sander. I don't think there's going to be any great problem getting the paint off. It's all just flaking off mostly, so I don't think there'll be a massive problem in getting that cleaned up. Right, that's dried up now. We'll strip that out and see what we've got. We've now got a solid stool. It's not going anywhere. Just take that screw out now, that's not needed anymore. I'll find some filler stopper and then clean the underneath up. At least we're back with a solid stool now. Right, that's got the stool clean of paint. Most of it came off pretty easily. It wasn't really sticking very well. So we'll start and give it an undercoat now and get it ready for its top coat. Just using some of the acrylic primer that I used on the bus bunk bed on the MDF. Probably need a couple of coats, but it's the best thing I can do. In fact, it would have been probably nicer to have left it in the wood, because it's not a bad, I could get a reasonably good finish on it, but I spoke to the owner the other day who didn't want the top altered, and he did want it white, so white it is. Now I've denibbed the stool with about 500 grit, a bit of Abranet just to get all the nibs off it, bits of dust and that smooth now. I filled a little hole where the screw was with a bit of sawdust and white wood glue, so I think we're ready to put the finished coat on now. Just put this away. Right. I think I'll do the same, start from the bottom up, because it's a finished job, and make sure it's clear underneath. That's it. You can see the benefit of having a slightly different coloured undercoat. They used to have pink as the primer colour when I first started work, and there's a certain virtue to that because you can see where you've been, whereas with this it's easy to miss. This is alright at the moment, but I can see once the 2 or 3 of the legs are done, I'm going to end up having to thread my way between legs that are painted. Right, 1 down, 3 to go. There we are, that's it done. Ready to go back out of the shed and back to its owner. Right, so that's the stool done, ready to go back to its owner. Nice and shiny, paint's dried on it now, so we can let him have that back. Successful one, I think. Hope the video was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next time. I'll see you then. Bye!